Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a great day so far. My name is JurassicKM and welcome to today's video. This will be the final repaint video of 2024, so I wanted to do something interesting to close out the year. Leaks of upcoming toy figures or prototype images are the norm. When this image was leaked online, this red Allosaurus figure always caught my eye. This figure was never actually released. We only saw it in a promo shot with the Stegosaurus from the Dino Rivals line. And then this color scheme was very poorly adapted to the Dino Rivals Metriacanthosaurus. So to pay tribute to this prototype figure that was never released, I have a spare Jurassic World Dominion Extreme Damage Allosaurus, and we are going to paint that figure. Let's get started. Unlike most of the dinosaurs that I paint, that use a 2-to-1 paint to water ratio of tan as their base coat, I used a 2-to-1 ratio of deep red for the base coat on this one. Now, because it's a more vibrant color than run-of-the-mill tan, this did require more than 2 coats, and I don't know if it was just the figure or the paint that I was using, but there were some spots where the paint just did not want to stick to the figure. So after I had applied multiple coats of the deep red, I actually clear coated the exterior of the figure so that the paint would stay on, and then we wouldn't have to deal with paint chipping as we were working on this color scheme. We're starting with all of the striping pattern on the dinosaur. So for this, we're doing a 5-to-1 mix of raw umber and black, and then we're going to mix that 1-to-1 paint to water, and then we are going to apply the stripes and patterns down the spine, on the knees, on the feet, and we're also going to add a little on the hands and in the eye sockets. So for this first pass of the stripe color, I'm not too worried about trying to match the original design exactly. I just want to do something that's close enough, or at least invokes enough of it that people will recognize it. The other half of the Allosaurus, however, I am trying to replicate what I've done. And going over this, it occurs to me that this is probably going to need 2 coats. So that second coat, I'm just going to do off screen. For this next step, we're actually going to take a little bit of creative liberty. What we're going to do is we're going to take a 1-to-1 wash of bright orange, and we're just going to map out where on the skull the bright yellow pattern is going to go. And then we're also going to carefully paint this orange wash pattern around the stripes on the first little bit of the neck, just so that it looks like that the colors are all kind of blending and bleeding together, just so that it's not a stark yellow, then a stark red, and then the stripes that we just did. While we're waiting for the orange wash to dry, let's take care of the eyes and the claws right now. The eyes, we're just going to do yellow straight out of the cap, and then we're going to do a black dot for a pupil, and then we're just going to use black straight out of the cap for the nostrils and the claws on the hands and feet. So before we put the next layer of paint on, does anybody else remember Primal Rage? Remember Diablo? Yeah, I'm getting Diablo vibes from this paint job. Next up, we're doing a 1-to-1 mix of yellow and water, and then we're going to paint the yellow pattern onto the head. If it doesn't look yellow enough to you, do a second coat. Next, we're going to do a 1-to-3 wash of tan, and we're just going to put it on the underbelly. Now, you don't have to put any of this color on the inside of the arms or the legs. This is just going on the bottom of the neck, the bottom of the stomach, and then the bottom of the tail. Just to add a little extra pizzazz on this Allosaurus figure, we are going to take some yellow straight out of the cap, and we're going to dry brush it on the scales where some of this exposed orange is. So now what we're going to do, just to tone down the striping pattern that we did earlier, is we're going to take a 1-to-20 wash of deep red, and we're going to put it over the entire dinosaur except for the eyeballs and the claws. Sidebar, don't put any of this red wash on the black spines either. Next, we're just going to put another coat of the stripe color on those spines that we avoided with the red wash. So even though I put on a layer of clear coat earlier before we started laying down all of the patterns and colors on the exterior, I've still had to deal with paint chips, and I've been touching them up off screen. Again, I don't know why, just something's not cooperating. So before we work on the interior of the mouth, we are going to put another layer of clear coat on the entire exterior of the dinosaur and then proceed from there. So moving on to the interior of the mouth, we are going to do a 2-to-1 mix of wisteria and water. And then we are going to paint the jaw membranes, the inside of the mouth, the tongue, and the teeth. Originally, I was thinking that this would need 2 coats, but it looks like 1 coat will suffice. Since the Jurassic World Allosaurus has a very dark tongue, we're going to incorporate that into this figure. So I'm doing a 2-to-1 mix of navy blue and African violet, and we're doing a 1-to-1 paint to water ratio, and we are going to paint the tongue. Don't worry if you slop some of the paint onto the teeth, because we're going to fix the teeth in a minute. While we are waiting for the tongue to dry, there are a lot of scars on this Allosaurus's body, so we're going to take a 5-to-1 mix of natural buff and natural beige. We don't have to cut it with water, and using a very, very thin brush, we are going to fill in all of the scars. Now we are going to do a 5-to-1 mix of antique white and yellow, and then we are going to very carefully paint in the teeth. Because it's such a light color, this will take a second coat for the teeth, but I'm just going to do that off screen. Now that everything is dry, we're going to take another pass of clear coat over the entire figure. I'm going to inspect it and see if there's any further touch-ups or cleanups that I need to do with it. But once everything looks good and the clear coat is set in, we're going to add some clear nail polish to the eyes, nostrils, teeth, inside of the mouth, and the claws, and we're going to call this repaint done. And thus concludes this fun little homage that I did to the unreleased Allosaurus prototype from the Jurassic World Dino Rivals line. I'm really happy with how this one turned out, touch-ups and redos notwithstanding. I hope that you all enjoyed this process as well. With that said, I'm going to take the rest of the year off. It is the holidays, so I've got some things to take care of, and I just want to spend some time with my family. So folks, if you've made it this far into the video, I do want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch it. Be sure to give this video a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for any future notifications, and share this video around. If you wish to support me further, you can do so by clicking on the link below to my Patreon. Otherwise, watching these videos all the way through is a great help to the channel. Once again, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch it. And until next time, this is JurassicKM signing off, and I'll see you all in January. And thus concludes this repaint of the Allosaurus. Now remember, this is not an exact 1-to-1 recreation of the canceled Dino Rivals Allosaurus prototype. This is just a tribute.